If you're watching this video, it means that your child recently took a full-length practice exam. Now, I'd like to start by taking a second to acknowledge what a challenging feat that is. For your child to be willing to come in on their own time and devote themselves to a 3-hour grueling exam is something that they should be commended for, and you should definitely recognize the effort and dedication that they're willing to put in to create a future for themselves that's exciting. These practice tests serve a variety of different purposes for us. They help students work on their test-taking skills, etc. But they also work as a diagnostic, a tool for us to diagnose their performance, where they're at, and where they can improve. And in order to fully demonstrate this point to you, I want to take you through our score reports. When you're looking at this score report, the first question that you probably have is, all right, well, what did my child score? So if you look at the composite, that's the average, the total score that your child had. This score here is a 24. Now, for many of you, maybe this is your first time dealing with the ACT, you have no idea what that number even means. And the best way to contextualize it is to compare it to numbers that the student would need to get into colleges that they're looking to attend to. So find out their median scores. I'll throw up some of the local school scores on the screen and see, well, where are they? Where do they need to be? And how can they get there? The average score increase that we see on the ACT is about 4 points. Now, that doesn't come easy. So if you're at that 24, you're looking at a 28. That's within reach with very strong effort. If you want to get a 30, a 31, now that's going to take some kind of heroic level of effort. We're talking about drilling daily, working hard, and we're here to push you. The drive's got to come from the student. Okay. Now, that score, the total score, is made up of individual scores on 4 different sections. The English or grammar section, the math section, the reading section, and the science section. And just quickly looking at this, it immediately becomes apparent that this student is stronger at English and reading than math and science. The reading is the strongest score, and then the English. The math is clearly something that we need to remedy. So the primary purpose of this report is to help us diagnose why your child score in the way that they are and how they can improve their score. And we're going to now dive into some deeper layers of, well, what does this 24 mean? Not all 24s are the same. So if we look at the first section, it's the English or grammar section, what you'll notice is that we break down our tags in accordance with our curriculum and by chapter. So all of the things with ones next to it are from chapter 1, and chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Now, if we look quickly, what we would probably notice is that there's room to improve consistently throughout. Lesson 3, 15 for 20, lesson 4, 13 for 18, and if we want to get into more detailed breakdown, 10 for 15 on transitional words, here are the questions that she got wrong. You could dive into those questions to get even a clearer picture of why she scored the way that she did. Okay. Now, the next thing that we want to talk about is math. For math, we rank the questions by level, and predictably, she struggled with the harder questions. Again, we break it down by chapter, and look, there's work to be done in chapter 1, chapter 2, and I'm not going to dive into all of the test-specific language here, but again, this is going to help us really figure out lesson 3. I think on her report, the most telling sign is actually this third chart, ranking it by school year. So 15 for 25 on algebra, that's all right, 11 for 21 on geometry, and then 1 for 14 on trig. And here's the list of the questions. Now that is extremely, extremely telling. She's a junior. She probably hasn't learned Algebra 2 yet. We're going to work with her to have that knowledge in time for the test. And this score should be easily improved. So this is an example of how I'm looking at the report and, oh, here's the avenue. It pops out to me. It's clear. And the tutors are going to be able to convey this to the student. In reading, we go through by passage. Passage 1, strong. Passage 2, the weakest passage is this passage here, 6 for 10 on passage 4. So that's another thing that stands out to me. And, so we'll work on that passage that's the science passage. She probably doesn't love reading science. Or maybe she had time issues, another thing that we'll probably want to discuss. And then again on science, you could see that she performed incredibly strong on questions 1 to 10. And then that streak fell off as we got later in. It looks like this section here from 11 to 17 maybe something that we'd want to look at. Again, we'd want to examine if there are time issues. The performance on the last section wasn't great. So that'll give us an idea. And once your child's taken multiple different tests, well, then we're going to be able to actually track their progress, hopefully with an upward trajectory. That's the total English, math, reading, and science. Hopefully they all trend upwards. They don't always directly go upwards. You'll see some blips on it. You can see their current, their best score, their overall improvement. This is obviously incredible. If we got something like this, we would be thrilled. But that's basically the breakdown. So take practice tests. It's hard work. Work on your time management, your skills. Figure out exactly where you're lacking. And then delve into the specifics and work on those skills.